Hello everyone! This is Laszlo, and I welcome you to the 7th episode, oh my god, 7th episode of our Space Engineers playthrough. And in today's video it will be similar to the previous one, a bit of building, a bit of action, a bit of everything. About the building, I was planning to make the forklift today. About the action, I repaired the antenna last time, so I expect a couple of bases to spawn. Yay! Let's hope not too heavy of an attack we will receive, but we should be okay in terms of guns and decoys and everything, so I'm not that afraid of that yet. So our goal today is to build a forklift that is working, and then work with the AI to move it out of the observatory and place it on our ship somewhere.
What an exciting day, engineer.
Will be a fun day.
That too.
First off, let me just start with building the forklift, right? And we will go from there. Oh. So yeah, before I start working on this, I updated our board of to-do list. The first thing that we do will be designing the forklift, and I added here that I want it to be a small grid, something that is wide track, so it will not easily will turn over, and it should be able to lift at least one large block. Lift and move at least one large block. And we will come back to this list later on. The other is just lifting the ice, searching for the book piece and some information. Alright. Yeah, I think this is all we would need. Oh my god, I won't be able to see anything from this. Alright, so what I wanted to see is if I switch on things, I have 6 days of power, that's good. And I switch on pistons, that's good. And I can reverse it to lift up and down. And when I'm okay with the height, I can switch it off. And I can reverse back whenever I need to. Okay, so this is it. That's basic lift functionality. I was worried that it's a bit scratchy here, but it should be sufficient. I will probably need to add more things to it, like wheels. I wanted to make it wide, but not that wide. I have a reference. This is one block, so I can go out at least 5 small blocks in each direction, and that should still be good. I definitely want to add a wheel up here to the front and 2 sets of wheels back here, and I need to set the back wheels to turn and the front wheels to proportionally not turning. Diamond. Feel back. Alright, so one set of wheels will go here. Maybe it's a bit close, but I really want to have the weight distribution somewhere around the cockpit, or maybe a bit back because of the batteries. Because if I attach something to the front, it still needs to be drivable up and down. So I should not let the bottom be the bottom, if it makes sense. Something like this. And I will probably need to have 1x1 wheels. Jesus Christ, what the heck is the 1x1 wheel? It's absolutely looking useless. Wheel suspension 1x1 left. Right. This should be right. Ew. Right, so right. And I need to change this. And the wheel. Oh my, look at how shitty it looks. Nay, this will not do. These are not wheels, these are BS. I'm not willing to show my face in the world with these disgusting things. Need to go by 3x3 and normal wheels. One left and one right. Yeah, this will look better, just not where we are. I will probably need to lift this whole thing up a bit. Yeah. And I will do this by adding another piston. Yeah, I already have it there. Yep. And another landing gear. There. Oh, no power, right? Oh yeah, much better. Actually, we don't need that extra block. To be able to just add this one immediately. Not like that. Like this. Add an extra block. Now flip it the right, so with the left. One. Yeah. Oh shoot. Don't actually need to stand in the way, right? Yeah. Well, not ideal, but should be able to. This is more than 2 blocks. I mean, if it is not fitting through this, then it's not good. So to rethink this strategy, I do want to have this there. See how this one will work. So this is okay, I guess. Yeah, this is sort of the maximum we can afford, I think. I need 2 more sets back here. was actually going one block further out. Well, we will see. We need to engineer around it. Actually, saving the observatory at this point is not actually a concern, so I might as well just make it as big as I can and cut a hole through the whole thing and save the AI. That is more important than saving the observatory, no matter how good that building looks.
Engineer. That was a marvelously exciting rescue. You made me worried a bit when your forklift was upside down, but you solved it.
Yeah, I really thought that the forklift will be as stable as I can make it. Its middle point was on the right place. The batteries were low. I tried it out. It was working. It was just didn't have enough space to maneuver around.
The observatory AI modules are not normally designed to be removed from their place after finalized, so the server room was not constructed with vehicles in mind. Luckily, every engineer comes equipped with the basic tools for problem solving.
The next step was building the ramp. I wasn't sure at first that it will be a good fit because the observatory was meant to be rotating, but since I was not planning to use the observatory, nor is anybody else in the near future, I thought it's not a big problem if I just make way where I need to be. There was a debate about which way the ramp should go and whether or not I need a whole ramp or just a sort of like a terrace. But I thought the ground is always a safe option to conduct transactions on. So that's why I opted to build a full ramp from the server room down to the ground.
If the observatory crew will ever return, they will need an engineer to make the rotating building working again. But since I work based on priorities, I must say, finding them first deserves a higher rank on the to-do list than worrying about the structural stability of the building.
Yeah, to be honest, putting the building back together is not much of an issue from an engineering standpoint. Putting an AI back in that hole, that's a whole different topic. But we will see. I mean, would you even want to go back to the observatory?
Through the observatory, I was able to explore the solar system as much as an AI can hope to, but it will not compare to the hands-on experience of actually visiting the places I saw. Ask me again, after we find the science crew. Engineer, I monitored your operation to lift the forklift closer to the observatory. It seemed rather sketchy. Are you sure that the WASP Mark II was up to the task?
Yes. I mean, no. After a very short flight, I noticed that either the weight was too much or there was some issue with landing gear connecting to the forklift. It started descending on its own, but I actually made it. I won't say it was the most stable drop of my life, but it was just on the edge of what was possible. I almost flipped the damn thing when I was going up the ramp. I mean, before. I was trying to set the wheel strength, and I accidentally set it so quickly that it jumped into the air.
I noticed that the service tunnel was barely enough to get you in. How wide did you imagine it will be when we were on our way out?
I was working at one problem at a time. I know that your unit is one block, and I know the tunnel is around, 3x2 or something similar. I thought I will get in first, and if I get in, I just make my way out the same way. adding that extra block to the back or to the front, it didn't really meant much at that point. I thought that if I need more space, I just make it. Won't you miss your support AIs, or how did you call them, the coordinating subnodes, right?
That's correct, the coordinating subnodes. They are an enhancing functionality for calculations, but when there's nothing to calculate, they are dormant. If I'll ever get back to the observatory, I'm sure I have work for them as long as there's power available. This is the part where I was wishing hard on you being a good engineer. I knew the transfer will not be easy, but when the turning radius of the forklift was not sufficient to take the corner and the forklift fell to its side, I was genuinely worried, how will I ever get out of this situation? Luckily, your skills in flipping upside down vehicles came handy in there.
Yeah, that's a little bit of my fault. I started turning a bit later, so the forklift didn't have enough space to do the maneuver. Yes, luckily for both of us, I have a great expertise in flipping vehicles, mainly because I had a bad luck of many of my vehicles flipping for multiple reasons. I remember when I arrived to this planet, one of the first things I did was flipping my survivor vehicle. I didn't even know somebody installed an anti-flip system on it, and they mapped it to the main control. So when I pressed that one, the whole vehicle started spinning. Yeah, flip vehicles are quite common, so at least in my area. Luckily I was able to solve this one without any hardcore engineering. It was just the old battery to the side method.
And then, the day was saved, and my core unit was eventually reached the outside the first time since my installation. It was a strange feeling, after so many years I spent working here. I will always have fond memories of this place, but to be perfectly honest, I don't mind the company either. I also find the idea of flying exciting. AIs are built to be multi-purpose, but this will be a functionality I never had a chance to practice before.
Oh yeah, flying will be fun. I know you will love it. I'm not actually afraid of you flying the ship. I'm a bit more afraid of what we will find on our journey. The rivers are especially active in this region, as well as space pirates, the assertive drones and facilities. As soon as we have some sort of a presence in a region, they just won't stop coming.
I can advise you on defensive and offensive fittings, as well as ship upgrades. I will also be able to operate the armaments with great precision. As an observatory AI, I was able to target the furthest planets in the solar system before. The pirates will be no match for our combined awesomeness.
Oh yeah, I take the advice whenever you will give it. I already put some defensive measures on the ship, but if you think it will not be enough, let me know, and I can install additional weaponry.
The merge block connection to your ship was working without an error. I was able to integrate with all ship systems after the initial link setup. Did I see it correctly that most of this ship was a military installation before? How did you manage to make it into a ship?
The installation was actually covered in snow, so I had to dig under it and into the walls to make sure that it's free from its grounded status. I converted it to a ship and upgraded it until it was flying.
That must have been an enormous task. I'm sure there were more efficient ways to fly, but I respect your need to bring unique ideas to life and execute problem solving on your own way. What's next on our list?
Let's see. We will probably need to get more resources before we can go on our merry way. But why I was originally coming to this planet was a mission. I was tasked to search for a paper-based book. I'm not sure if you have heard about it, but last time that book was mentioned, it was somewhere around here on this planet, and more precisely in the observatory. it is important for some people, but seeing the observatory and hearing your story about the scientists, I might just think that the book itself might not be as important as something else. It's a mystery. Do you perhaps know anything about this?
A paper-based book? That's quite rare, but I think you're just in luck. I do know of such a thing. One of our scientists, Dr. River Avery, had such a book. She often mentioned it and told me that the pages in it are quite aged, so I'm not sure what use that can be for anyone. If I recall correctly, it was a collection of stories from a famous author who lived centuries ago. If it has some significance, I doubt that Dr. Avery would have left it behind, but you can take a look in the main observatory hall. All scientists had a station and a drawer there. If it's still here, that must be where it is.
Main observatory hall. I got it. I do hope it's here. Otherwise, I'm a bit short on ideas about where we will go next. If this mission is as important as it sounds, I'm pretty sure your good doctor would have left some notes. If I find them, we will be one step closer to finding the scientists and figuring out what's the mystery here. Alright, so here we are. Hopefully not with narration. I previously discovered that this piece of shit microphone that I have started recording noise instead of my voice. I'm not sure what the problem was. It was just sort of like had an overload of some sorts. I've only seen that my microphone is in the red, maximum voice is recorded, but it turned out in the video that it just recorded noise. This is annoying, but anyway, again, for another technical difficulty with space engineers and recording and everything in general, here we are. I think this chapter 1 location will be ours. Yes, chapter 2 location. And this is the chapter 1 of the book that we were hunting finally after so many years. Well, not years, but episodes actually. We have what we came here for.
Engineer, there's an embedded, hidden audio message on the datapad containing the GPS coordinates. Forwarding it to your headset now.
My name is Dr. River and I'm a researcher at the Oracle Observatory of A23P. I'm leaving behind these notes in the chapters of H.G. Wells's short stories, a book I inherited, in the hopes that the antique nature of the paper medium will not raise suspicion, but in the hands of an expert they prove to be valuable enough to collect, so the world will one day know the full line of events that unfold from this point. The research team I work with here in the observatory discovered some sort of ruins on planet Helgen, on the outer rims of this solar system. The pictures that our telescope delivered show the large pylons of towers that we have not yet seen. Since Helgen is an inhospitable wasteland, there shouldn't be any ruins there. Yet, at some point, the planet was habitable. What happened there? After some deliberation, my fellow scientists decided to travel to Helgen to study the ruins with the blessing of our corporate sponsor. We don't know yet what we will find, but everyone wants to be the first to discover something extraordinary, so we set the date of departure for tomorrow. The science committee no doubt will not take our trip kindly. We were supposed to working in the observatory, but no stopping now. We don't even have time to instruct the Oracle AI and subnose the new tasks. We hope to return in a few weeks, but if we don't, come and find us. I leave coordinates of our first stop on the way, the moon colony Tarsis 4, where we pick up one of our fellow researchers, Maurice Smith, the orbital mechanics scientist. We will need him to find the route to Helgen. the colony coordinates attached to this notepad.
I wonder why Dr. Avery wanted to keep this a secret. The GPS coordinates point to the southern hemisphere of the moon.
On the moon? Alright, I need to do some significant upgrades to this ship before we can go to the moon. I will need to finish the first section. I will need to cover the thrusters here. And we need to add another large hydrogen thruster. And then we also need to gather some resources from here. I should not forget that we had another asset base there that I can explore and tear apart. And we had iron, nickel, magnesium, and everything we need in this lake. Hydrogen as well. So what I will do is that I will finish the ship, move it over to gather resources in all these darker resource nodes on the lake, and then we will be on our way to the second waypoint. Let me first go to the asset base and take a look at that one. I'm curious if it is something that we can quickly dismantle or something that would need a bit more effort. After that I will come back and build the ship. And I will see. Maybe we can convince Oracle AI to read us the chapter that we found while I'm building the ship.
Although the book chapter seems to be complete, it is in a degraded state. Reconstruction in progress.
I put these in a safe place. And I will take some of these unknown with me. Because I think we just hit the antenna on that base, but not the turrets. So if we go there, there is a chance that there are some guns still active. Oh my, this reads we only have 10% of hydrogen left. Oh no, maybe I need to get back to the base and refill. %. Oh no. Oh no. Let me land. Let me land. Let me land safely. Don't fall out of the sky, please, please, please. 5% hydrogen left. 4. 3. 2. 1. Oh, we had 1% hydrogen left. Alright, let me check these tanks. I think the problem was that one of the hydrogen tanks was set to stockpile, and it was started stockpiling from these tanks. Alright, let me check the local O2 gen. It doesn't have any ice. We don't have any ice at all. Let me remedy that with a little bit of drilling quickly. I don't want to fall out of the sky, so I do want to have some ice in my and now we should have ice everywhere. Local inventory. Yeah, we have ice everywhere. And I mean literally everywhere. Right, let me just check. How much we have in our large container? Nothing. So it's perfect. So I can pull everything from the cargo container of the small ship, because we will need that, and I only leave the ones that are in the O2 gen. And I can now safely unlock, and I have 100% H2. Wait a sec. If I look at my tanks, of course they are on stockpile. Why wouldn't they? Alright, so now they are supplying hydrogen to the engines to generate power. We should be good. Alright, let's look at that SF base, if it's still there or not. Oh, I see that it's still there. I remember we peppered it, but it was more like we were able to shoot out the main antenna or power in it. I'm not sure which. Still active, but not summoning anything, so whatever we shoot out, it was kind of essential. We get a good angle on it. What is all this red? Frontier outpost, mobile drilling platform. Alright, so that should be fine. Let me find an angle which is not covered by trees. We are at 800 meters, 780. Yeah, this should be good. I get to 700 and then I try to hold 600. Alright, even better. Let's hold this position. Alright, what do we see here? There's a small interior turret. doesn't seem to be active. I might just have managed to hit the battery on it, so nothing is working because it has no power anymore. Let me do a quick test of some sorts. Let me GPS my current position. Stay here. I just do a quick test if it will shoot at me or not. Oh, it doesn't seem to shoot at me, so we're kind of good, I think. Yeah, whatever it had, I think I managed to demolish it. Basic assembler. I can't say that I'm overwhelmed with the quality of loot again in an asset base. One basic drill and one normal gun. Everything seems to be offline. Nothing seems to be... Well, I take it, you never know. But still... Stingy loot, Spetsy. Stingy loot. So where is my car? I just park it next to it and take the essential stuff. Whoa, boys, whoa. This is the time you choose to shoot everything. Turrets. Groups. Turrets. Toggle block 1 and off. 6. Off. Let's fill up. Everything else off. Yeah. It had no power. It was not shooting. I hacked it, my guns decided that these needs to die. Alright, that was it, I guess. Let's get back to the observatory. Hold on one sec. I just try this out. This is cobalt in case we would need it. Although I've seen it on the lake too. So I'm not too... Silver. Oh yeah. Very GPS this. A silver cobalt. Because we will need both. And I think I've seen gold on the lake but not silver, and here we have silver right on the surface. It will be easier to just come here and mine the silver here instead of trying at the lake. Because at the lake we always have ice, although we need to fill up both the big tanks before we can head towards the moon. Oh, is that the moon? Let me go up a bit and see. Almost looks like the moon. It is the moon. Look at that. And that's our waypoint on it. I'm not gonna go up too much, but let's just take a quick look. I think it was number 7, my camera. Oh my, look at that. It looks so close. We have a Bruce Almighty moon. And 65 kilometers. If we can make it. I will probably make a stop somewhere along the way and create a short small vehicle, sort of like the Wasp for space. And I will use that to try to look for uranium, because out in the asteroid fields there's a possibility that we will find uranium. And I do need that actually. Currently we are still losing power at the base. And I don't have any other way to power the ship besides more solar panels, which I might do. What I can do actually is build a small wind powered power station and find a way to connect it to the ship. I need to be very careful with my descent speed because I weigh quite significantly over the amount that I usually weigh. And if I just a little bit faster in my descent, I might not be able to decelerate. Alrighty, let me skip ahead when I did some housekeeping.
Alert. Reaver ship approaching. Activating all turrets. Prepare to fight, engineer.
Alright folks, this is it. The Reaver has detected a potential target. And with its first shot, it bombarded our new power station. Oh, and it shot me. Come on, turrets, give it hell. Oh, what the fuck? Straight in the middle of my base. Oh, Jesus Christ in heaven. I don't think there's anything on it anymore. We just stop firing. Holy hell in shit, look at that distraction. It's a freaking kamikaze. Straight in the middle of my base. God damn. And I was like, alright, let me switch on a little bit the antenna because we can handle it, right? We can handle it.
Fuel low.
What the hell?
Fuel critical.
2 minutes after I switched on the antenna, it immediately did a kamikaze run straight in the middle of our base. It was straight ahead, severing the wasp from the connector. I think it straight ahead destroyed our large refinery too. Holy hell. Alright. Yeah, let me do something with this. And I think first off I need to switch off my freaking antenna. You will not see it here, but I built a little power station here because our power production was less than ideal. I managed to build something which was like 20 wind turbines or something of that. It was very simple, it was just scaffolding and two sides of a corner block with a wind turbine. Oh, this one's still doing something. Let me make it not. Holy hell.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
I mean, it just straight up destroyed our main refinery and smashed in the middle of our base. And this is not even in a state that I can actually recover and rebuild. Alright. Now let me clean this mess up. Oh damn. Seems we can't produce any ammunition. And that we were ate up most of ours. But when the morning will come, I will have to go to the magnesium mine and get some more. Until morning I will fix whatever was taken from us. Alright, so after the attack I came to the conclusion that we should not leave machinery, connectors and such without covering. The only thing that should be covered, should be out of cover, is the turrets. Also, why the heck did our decoy not work? It is attached to power, it is active, it is on, and it did not attract any fire whatsoever. Any. Yeah, anyway, I still need to clean up this mess under here. Alright. Damage repaired. Power restored. More or less. And I think our batteries should be charging now. Yeah, fully recharged in 3 hours. All of our batteries are recharged. That small wind turbine farm that I built here to provide enough juice so all of our equipment can normally charge to their maximum. And before the river attack started, I started building the third thruster for our ship. That's what I plan to continue. I make that happen, and I also sort out the second landing gear here. Then I was actually thinking about creating a small mining ship. Not for mining though. So it's not actually a mining ship, but for welding. I was trying to have a welding ship, go through all this, fix everything that is not yet done. But we are starting to get running out of materials, so I will need to go first for magnesium for sure. So I think I will have to cut it. Mining is never exciting. So see you in a few cuts. Alright, so I think I need to speed this up a little bit. At this point, while I was editing the video, I noticed I still have 8 hours of video, which I wanted to put into one. So let me summarize what happens in the next couple of hours, instead of just letting you watch through the whole thing. First I decided that I need a welding ship, because welding out the front of the base was quite big of a job. Then I took this little forklift and I drove it down the hill, and I thought I would just slap some thrusters to it, and that will be fantastic. It turned out it's not that fantastic. Not very new, this little thingy that I built eventually, and well, I did use it for welding. It's not really a welding ship, mainly because you cannot really transfer materials from the connector to the containers to the weld. I was actually, I think, a bit discouraged while I was seeing that it is not particularly stable. I did eventually manage to stabilize it, add all the thrusters that I need, and I was able to weld a little bit with it, but I will probably have to redesign this whole thing, so I don't really want to spend much more time with a detailed walkthrough on how I built it, because it's not a particularly good build that I'm proud of.
Worry not, engineer. Iteration is the cornerstone of innovation. I'm sure the Mark II welding ship will be better from the lessons you learned here.
And I decided to check out this black ship. It was too tempting to just find a giant ship in the middle of the sky. I just envisioned all the uranium I can get from it. Even though getting this would have been significantly more cheapy than getting the drilling platform before. I decided to pursue this a bit, to poke the bear, so to say. It turns out the ship was not despawning, but it was still armed and hovering over a mountain. For the sake of story, let's just say that they had a malfunction and they were not able to move forward, and their engine failures eventually led me to them. I did some shots on them, they did some shots on me. Eventually, after shooting out a few of their turrets, I was noticing that they started moving in one direction, like if I would have managed to damage one of their thrusters, and all the symmetrical thrusts have been unbalanced, and they started moving one direction then towards the other, but they were refusing to fall out of the sky. We had a few close encounters, and eventually I decided that alright, they will not go down, so I just left them and went back on my merry way back to the base, repairing my ship and building more.
Large grid ships are quite vulnerable to planetary gravity. They are normally built with enough thrusters for hovering nearly indefinitely, but if one of their main thrusters are damaged, however, they have no hope to repair it in the air. The only way is down. I monitored your chase of the Leviathan, and I came to the conclusion that it was well built, but malfunctioning. Initially I thought that the malfunction was limited to their backward-facing thrusters, but after your cleanup shots, the internal piping to one of their downwards-facing thrusters was damaged enough so the ship lost its balance.
It felt a bit like I was licking my wounds when I went back and the ship was still in the air. But it's fine, I made my peace with it. I started working on the ship, fixing a few things here and there. Then I noticed there was a surface occupation base, which looked somewhat similar to what the main base of mine was made of initially. So I thought I will take a look if it is indeed that sort of a base. It was, but I forgot about the inhabitor, so I went too close, and when I went for my stuff back again, they managed to shoot me. So I didn't really have any choice other than taking the Wasp and taking the base out. Luckily, this was actually a fairly good move, as it turned out. When I was doing the assault, I even forgot that this base has a nuclear reactor. So from all that endeavor, I managed to get around 20 kilos of uranium. which made our battery situation and our situation significantly better. Well, I did not plan to take this outpost, but they forced my hand. They had an inhibitor field and they killed me. That calls for revenge. Let me get to them and try to look into what they have with the same configuration as our base. So it had 5 turrets altogether, 4 on the sides and 1 in the main gate. I should be able to just get there. It seems they still have one. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This was something of a revenge. But look at the bright side. We got some ammo. Didn't get the fuel. I hoped it will just blow up. But I guess it didn't.
Inventory full.
Oh, what?
Inventory full. Inventory full.
What we found is actually even better.
Inventory full.
I did not even think about this one, but this one also has a uranium nuclear reactor. That's super good for us actually. This is not cheapy in terms of not too much too quickly.
Inventory full.
The additional uranium was a lucky find indeed. Although we have external connection to a wind turbine grid and solar panels on the ship, they can be easily damaged, as you saw yourself when the Reaver ship attacked. A nuclear reactor on our ship will ensure that we are always battle ready when we need to be, and the medbay is always ready to ensure your survival. I must note here that 20 kilos of uranium will not last for a very long time for us. It might have been enough for that base for a long time, but our power consumption is significantly greater. Always keep a lookout for more.
At this point I had enough action for a day, but then oh no, an asset base in the middle of the night. That's bad news for everybody. Alright. And indeed, bad news it was. The sets keep coming throughout the night, although my defenses were holding up. I have no bad words towards the new AI-controlled turrets.
I did my best.
It's still a nuisance I had to deal with, eventually, so I had to took the wasp out and take care of them too.
The assertive installations have a primary directive to aggressively seek out and destroy engineer-built structures and ships. The only way to deal with them is to disable their communication or power systems.
So I did eventually got the wasp and managed to find them. They were hiding a bit, but they could not hide long enough from me. They provided a nice sum of loot in terms of materials and ammunition and thruster components, but they had to go. And after I managed to dismantle their base, I noticed something strange in the distance. Alright, this vessel base will not bother us anymore. However, I wanted to look at that signal. That's the bugged escort carrier was not despawning and we're just moving back and forth. Quite curious if it was just still hovering there or managed to find itself a cozy spot to crash. And crashing it had. It turned out that the whole thruster maneuver at the beginning when I left it the last time and crashed it had. Eventually it seems that the thruster that I managed to damage caused it to smash into the hills around 11 kilometers from my base. Long enough so I have not seen their signal until I went after the assert base. But when I was at the asserts, I noticed that they are there still and they are not moving. And there started my long and exhausting journey towards trying to get into it. I will probably cut those things out for one main reason. I'm sitting here for after like nearly a week of debating what should I do with this, because it was bugged, so it's not really a valid salvage. But I did have to fight it, and I did manage to shoot out most of its guns, eventually completely declawing the large ship. I was able to dig into it eventually, disabled its jet inhibitor fields. I was able to grind out its reactor, and I was in the verge of basically disassembling it completely when I realized that that is way too much material for me to have this early in the playthrough. That would basically just solve all my problems instantly, and this would no longer be a survival playthrough. It would be an easy walk in the park. So to say, I found it a bit unethical to take everything from it. From the story point of view, I just say that it was too big of a ship for me to take apart alone. And therefore I made the decision not to grind it down or try to salvage or repair it. The only thing I took from this downed carrier was their uranium. I got around 200 kilos of uranium altogether. That should be plenty enough for me to move around the lake, gather the resources that I need in the next episode, and eventually leave towards our second waypoint without much more consideration to power consumption. Even that feels a little bit cheaty, but let's just say I earned it by taking down this large carrier. But I did not take other materials from it, so if you were worried about me cheating right at the beginning, worry not. I choose the right path, and I will earn everything that I will have in this playthrough. One of my main thrusters is out. I'm barely able to stop it when I'm descending. I have to be super duper careful. I have one welding rod. Let me see if I can just crouch next to it. Maybe it will fix my stuff. Managed to weld up my big thruster. Let me see if it can reach these oxygen. O2 gens. Alright, I do need some sleep. This was a very long night, even though in the video it will probably be very short, because I will cut and crossfade and everything. I need some sleep. After that I will come back and continue playing the Space Engineers Survival series.
Rest well, engineer. I'll keep an eye out for any potentially hostile activity and alert you if needed.
And also, I will continue working on this. Oh, this new guest looks so bad. Anyway, I continue work on this ship. And that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.